Welcome to Stampin' Fun Friday. This is the second video I have for you today, and it's also featuring the Angel Company stamps. And for this one, I'm using a set of stamps that have butterflies, and I'm stamping this first one with some Versamark stamp. It's a block design, and then I'm going to use some Chestnut American Crafts embossing powder on it. I'll heat that up here. Need to just a little bit more, tap that off, and then I'll heat it up. And I already cut it out. Now I'm going to take some Ranger ink blending tools and some Distress inks. This is Scattered Straw. And I'm going to add a little barn door, and I'm just adding it over that embossed image. And the embossed image resists the ink. Finally, I'm going to add a little dried marigold. So I have a little yellow, red, and orange going here. Kind of a more fallish looking card. But really, these stamps could be used for anything. I'm just kind of on a fall and autumn kick right now, so wanted to use those kind of colors. So there's what it looks like. I'm going to just rub a little of that ink off of the embossed part. Now I'm going to take some cardstock from Paper Tray ink, and I've already cut it to size to fit the front of my card. And I'm using one of the other butterfly designs from this Angel Company stamp set and using the Scattered Straw ink to add create the background for the base of my card. And there's what it looks like. Just a nice tone-on-tone look. Next, I'm going to take a scrap of brown cardstock and this Hero Arts Cling stamp. This is the Cling Dots. I use it a lot, but I like showing how I get the most out of my stamps, especially my favorite ones, the ones I use a lot. I inked it up with Versamark and laid my paper on top. That's how I get those perfect dots. Rub that on there really good. And again, I'm going to take the chestnut embossing powder from American Crafts and put that on the design. And it is tone on tone, but I wanted it to be a really subtle embossed look and nothing too drastic or bright like white might have been. You could also use clear, but I had the chestnut out, so I went ahead and used it. I'm going to heat that up and then trim it to about 2 1/4 inches wide. I also used an edge distresser on that background piece. And now I'm going to take the Scattered Straw ink and just add a little more ink to the edges of the base of the card. By roughing the edges, it allows the ink to adhere more easily and it makes it a little bit darker around the edges. Gives it a nice border. And then I'm just going to use a note card from Hero Arts for the base of my card. And there you see my polka dot strip, and I have a little bit of cream colored lace ribbon, and I just added some adhesive along both edges of my brown stamped piece, and I'm going to just kind of adhere that ribbon real quickly along the edge there. Snip the end, lay the ribbon back out, and adhere it along the other edge. Just kind of gives a nice vintage feel to the card. So there's how it's looking. Add a little bit more adhesive to that strip and adhere it to the butterfly background. And now we're getting ready to add all of the rest of the elements to the card. There's the piece that I stamped and used the ink on first. And before I adhere it, I thought it needed just a little bit more pop of color around the base of the card. So I have this really thin, kind of rustic orange silk ribbon. I'm just going to wrap that around the back of the card there. Added a little adhesive to the back so that it would stay in place while I tied the ribbon in a bow. And I decided I wanted to add a button. This doesn't always work with ribbon, but with this really thin silk ribbon like this, you're able to thread it through buttons pretty easily. And I'm going to secure the ribbon with the tiny attacher. Oops, got to add a few more staples, it looks like. The tiny attacher is a great way to adhere your ribbon if it's kind of moving around a lot and your adhesive isn't holding it in place, it doesn't really distract from the design of the card. So there, I'm just going to thread it through one of these. I think this is the Harvest Gold Paper Tray ink ribbons. I need to check the name for sure, but just a nice yellow button, rather, and thread that silk ribbon through there, kind of tighten it up, and I'll tie that in a bow. So the ribbon is a nice alternative. I use string or twine, the twine string a lot, rustic string I guess it's called, but this ribbon is a nice fun touch, something a little bit different, and it matches the colors of the card. And just snip those ends off. And then to add the inked butterfly piece, I'm going to use some foam adhesive. Want to pop that up just a little bit off of the background of the card since it's the focal point. Just grab a couple of these circle foam dot adhesive from American Crafts. And I added a little ribbon along the bottom too, just to kind of tie all the design in. And I sewed on a couple more of those yellow buttons. And now I'm adding some Hero Arts jewels kind of randomly across the card. Kind of adds a fun look. I'm trying to decide where to put that one there. I think these jewels are always a fun touch. They don't add a lot of bulk. Add one right there to the center of that ribbon. Yet they add a nice sparkle and interest to the design. So there is the front of the card all complete. And lately I have really been enjoying stamping the inside of my cards, kind of finishing off the whole design. And so I'm using a paper tray ink greeting, thank you greeting here. And then I took that butterfly and some scattered straw ink and added that to the inside of the card to just tie in with the front. For more information on this card, please visit my blog at www.nicolemcguirk.typepad.com on September 24th. Thanks for watching.